They wheeled me over to the kids' table at the back of a billionaire's glass-roofed banquet hall. The host raised his flute. "Let's thank our science teacher," and polite laughter rippled through the VIP circles. 3 minutes later, the museum's LED dome went dark, then exploded with the NASA insignia. The agency administrator appeared live from Houston, a silver lander model gleaming behind her. "We are honored to present the commander of the Delta L mission to the moon, Dr. Ethan Tran." The crystal flutes clinked dominoes. Tycoon Leland Archer snickered mid-sentence, while the kids at my table screamed so loudly that the rocket screen shook. The Houston to LaGuardia red-eye landed in needle-sharp drizzle, and Manhattan greeted me with its sleepless, Doppler-shifted heartbeats. My invitation had arrived 48 hours late. Leland Archer's aide had called in manic loops Dr. Tran. "Mr. Archer would be honored if you'd inspire our STEM corner children adore astronauts." I hadn't corrected her. I hadn't mentioned that the astronaut office had just promoted me from alternate to active crew after a medical disqualification, that NASA needed a clean reveal before leaks devoured the morning news cycle. Archer Space Museum's parabolic atrium exhaled stainless steel cold. A reusable booster mock-up hung upside down, beneath it. An LED lunar trajectory chased itself like an electric train. At check-in, my QR code changed from gold to green. STEM outreach. The clerk barely glanced up. "Your table is at the rear near the kids' activities." Fine. From Constellation Corner I could see every exit, and nobody ever watches the chaperone. Constellation Corner cartoon Apollo cloth, knee-high chairs, plastic VR headsets. My badge read Guider in bold Comic Sans. The Orion Link comm on my wrist buzzed Alcon code. Gateway emblem. Press leak imminent. Early crew reveal probable. Secure position for live feed. CDR TBD et. Heart sprinting. I drained a 9-year-old's lemonade to hide the tremor. The lemonade belonged to Emma Curly Hair, braces flashing. "Have you really gone to space?" "Not yet," I said. "But I've done the math that got others there." She peeled a satellite sticker and pressed it to my lapel like a medal. Kids always know true orbits. VIP constellations drifted in. Harper Quinn, PR Comet, dressed like thermal foil. Leland Archer followed, teeth calibrated, greeting donors by their stock tickers. Fiber optic comets cascaded from the ceiling grid. I spotted Dr. Sloan Park trajectory genius. Almost more than friends studying the lander model to avoid me. The MCs might cut through. "Tonight we fund a private logistics module that will dock with Gateway. Please welcome our STEM mentor, Dr. Ethan Tran." Laughter. Phone flashes. I bowed like a tuxedoed clown. Houston pinged again. T90 to blackout. I scanned the DMX rig. Power drop imminent. 3 layers blackout. NASA logo. Administrator Riva Lindholm. Live lander bay. My name. If anyone recognized me too soon, the chain reaction would detonate offline. A foam asteroid game erupted. A stray asteroid struck Archer's tux sleeve. He spotted me among the kids and smirked. "Dr. Tran, keep them talking about Venus, not venture capital." Laughter orbiting. I text-tapped the wrist comm. "Kid table go." Countdown 10-9. Lights yanked. Emma's hand found mine in the dark. Black velvet sky replaced the glass roof. White-blue NASA globe ignited. Sub-bass rumbling the floor like SRBs. Stray phones died. Priority bandwidth belonged to Houston. Administrator Riva Lindholm materialized. Backdrop stainless lander. American flag bright as permafrost. "Good evening from NASA Johnson. With your generosity, we take humanity's next leap. Mission Delta L will ferry Archer Logistics to lunar orbit, and we are honored to announce its commander." Archer inhaled. Dr. Ethan Tran. Heat hammered my face. Silence cracked around me. A crystal flute detonated. Kids chanted Ethan to the moon. Rocket models quivered. Harper Quinn shoved a mic at me. Cameras devoured the moment. I removed the kitty badge, set it atop the cartoon tablecloth. Beneath my jacket, the silver astronaut candidate pin glinted. "If you want to invest in the future," I said, "start at the kids' table." Emma raised her sticker-decorated hand. Shutter avalanches fired. Spotlights surged. The dome streamed mission schematics. Chiron screaming, "Live." Artemis, Delta, Crew Commander Dr. Ethan Tran. Houston texted, "Phase 2, security rolling." Sloan Park saluted with the navigator's 2-finger tap. I answered with a nod, words for later. Above, the LED moon completed its slow ascent, measuring the room, deciding who deserved the next step. The roar of camera shutters still rang in my ears when Leland Archer's gala resumed its artificial starlight. Administrator Reva Lindholm's feed faded out with the NASA meatball gently spinning, a placeholder until public affairs packaged the clip for the morning shows. But Archer Space Museum hadn't designed its power grid for ego-sized surprises. Half the spotlights refused to relight, and a third of the champagne refrigerators flickered off, bathing gilded hors d'oeuvres in morgue blue LEDs. I stood among children still buzzing about lunar landings, their sugar-fueled chants echoing across the atrium. Across the room, a cluster of billionaire donors argued over whose private launch schedule turned status symbol might now be delayed by NASA's sudden crew reshuffle. The air smelled of ozone, sweat, and expensive perfume trying to hide both. Leland Archer marched over, silver fox hair now slightly feral. Harper Quinn trailed, live stream phone routing every twitch of his jaw to her 500,000 followers. Dr. Tran, Archer said, smile fixed like a cracked EVA visor. Congratulations, though. A heads up would have prevented cardiac events among my accountants. One could argue that surprise is the essence of exploration, I replied, adjusting the astronaut pin now openly displayed. Harper cut in, rumor has it the Delta L crew manifest leaked. Care to confirm sabotage within NASA? Care to confirm your comment section isn't sabotage in itself? I shot back. Emma whooped behind me. The microphone captured it perfectly. Virality achieved. Archer's nostrils flared. This museum's naming rights to the logistics module were negotiated on the premise of transparency. Then it's transparent we both pursue the same destination, albeit from opposite ends of the launch tower. Before he could retort, my Orion link buzzed sharp. Alert Priority Charlie. Flight software breach suspected. Mission Control rarely used Charlie unless something was actively lighting up their threat board. I excused myself, ducking into a conference alcove decorated with scale models of every Archer-funded satellite. Dr. Sloan Park was already there, tasked by NASA PAO to shadow the event. She handed me a tablet. Guidance firmware for Delta L's Orion stack just pinged anomalous checksum, she whispered. Could be a morphed build or a malicious overlay. How recent? 20 minutes exactly when the blackout hit. Her eyes searched mine. Someone piggybacked our uplink while Houston shoved the broadcast through Archer's backbone. I inhaled slow. Public reveal makes a perfect smokescreen. Houston needs us on the loop. They're moving secure channel to a suite at the Roosevelt. Your lead. Problem leaving the gala unnoticed now that I was trending. Harper's lens scanned the room like an autonomous drone. Sloan handed me an Archer Museum custodial badge, compliments of a sympathetic engineer. We strode through back corridors, passing cryotank displays and suits from Apollo 17. Near the loading dock, a museum guard stopped us. Sloan flashed her NASA badge. The guard, eyes wide, simply nodded. Outside, cold rain had returned. Sparkling off the Hudson, a black Chevy Suburban idled. Its driver, NASA security detail Reynolds, popped the door. The city's skyline flashed news tickers, already looping my new call sign. Delta L Ghost. Fitting. Roosevelt Hotel. 11th floor suite converted to a mini mission control. Laptop screens displayed flight software Git logs. Red boxes highlighted intrusion trails. Flight director Javier Velasquez paced barefoot. Somebody injected an override routine tagged "Orbit nudges into the NAVEX stack." Could delay translunar injection by hours. Maybe crash a free return trajectory. Vectors, I asked. Commit signed with a key belonging to Trevor Myers, our ex-guidance dev now at Archer Orbital. Velasquez rubbed his neck. We think someone spoofed his username. Sloan frowned. Myers left on good terms. Could be inside Archer's DevNet or someone framing them. Houston text scrolled. Need secure room. Ask Cole to run Delta Isolator. I plugged the Orion link into a hardened laptop. The wrist device carries a hardware trust root for exactly this scenario compile astrogation code in a sealed environment. 20 minutes of whirling fans later, we produced a clean build. But we still needed to trace the rogue Delta. Where do Archer's dev servers physically sit, I asked. Sloan sighed. New Jersey colocation farm, they call it Launchpad East, which is ironically west of here, I said. Let's pay a midnight visit. Past 1 a.m., the Suburban sped down the New Jersey Turnpike. Rain blurring lights into hyperlanes. NASA security Reynolds monitored a laptop sniffing for the rogue commit's IP handshake. Every few miles, the tracer route tightened. Launchpad East emerged from fog a windowless, concrete bunker humming with generators. We flashed federal credentials. Sleepy guards let us in, grateful for excitement. Inside Cage 14, we located Archer's rack. Trevor Myers' build server still logged in. Session time-stamped 2211 blackout time. Sloane's fingers flew. Got a USB vid PID in the log. Someone walked in and hot-patched on physical port. CCTV deleted. But Reynolds found a shred, a maintenance badge entry. Quile Sutherland. Third-party contractor. Badge cloned. He'd exited minutes before we arrived. Port Authority flagged Kyle's van entering Newark's old shipyards. Suburban lights off. We followed. At Pier 37, a portable dish pointed skyward. Status LEDs blinking. Sutherland hood up. Typing fast. Package was likely feeding the corrupted flight software back into a darknet vault. Reynolds drew pistol. Sloane hacked dish power from a fuse box. I approached Sutherland. NASA security, step away. He bolted. Muddy chase through container stacks ensued. Rain turned mud into slick clay. He slipped. USB stick flew. I pinned him. Reynolds cuffed. USB labeled Delta L patch final. And an Archer Museum maintenance pass. Back at Roosevelt, FBI cyber rolled in. Sutherland cracked quick. Archer orbital rival Phaeton Dynamics had paid him to sabotage the crew reveal. Betting Archer's valuation would nosedive. They never expected NASA's blackout to blow their timing. But the quick exploit had lingered enough to poison the build if we hadn't isolated. Phaeton led back to dark money packs that hated federal private partnerships. At 0530, I stood on the hotel balcony. Midtown spires dripping dawn gold. Houston sent final compile hashes clean. Administrator Lindholm texted, "Mission secure. You still on for DC press tour?" Archer called next. I let it ring twice. "Congratulations." "Colonel," he said. Voice measured. "Seems our logistics module will fly under your command after all." "With the kids' table cheering," I added. A pause. "Your STEM corner raised more tonight than my entire donor tier. People love an underdog." "Then invest in underdogs," I hung up gently. Media day loomed. Sloane and I grabbed coffee at a 24-hour deli. She finally smiled. Tired, but bright. "Commander, next time I get you a real seat." Kids' table had the best trajectory. I answered. She bumped her paper cup to mine, to clean orbits, as the first subway rumbled beneath. My wrist link chimed quiet. T1 20 days to launch. The moon waited, indifferent to galas or sabotage. But it might appreciate a good comeback story. The first interview hit at 08:00 on Good Morning America. Under studio LEDs, I recounted the kids' table reveal while anchors tried shoehorning me into clickbait quips. So, Commander, is STEM the new VIP I dodged? Spotlighting Archer's donor-matched scholarships instead. By noon, every cable crawl ran Delta L footage intercut with crystal shards falling in slow-mo. 2 days later, Washington pulled me in like a gravity well. Senate Commerce scheduled a joint hearing, public-private space risk. Archer sat 3 chairs away, lawyer in tow, face more polished than the Capitol dome. Committee chair. Senator Miles opened Dr. Tran. What systemic safeguards protect Artemis from sabotage? I unrolled the Launchpad East breach timeline. Screens showed Sutherland's USB, the corrupted orbit nudge routine. Archer's jaw flexed as I clarified code signing alone fails if your physical layer is porous. Archer's counsel whispered. He raised a hand. Commander implies negligence, yet the infiltrator was a contractor subcontracted by NASA. True, I said. Just as an O-ring belonged to a subcontractor. The stack is only as strong as its coldest night. Gasps. The O-ring reference slashed 1986 across the room. Hearing adjourned. Headline writers cheered. That evening I flew south. Delta L's booster core. OD-4002 awaited static fire test at Pad 46 inside the privately leased Archer complex. Sloane Park greeted me with a hard hat and a grin, ready to make it rumble. We donned headsets in a glass bunker. Engineers ran Maynong's numbers. LOX chilled veins of the stage. T0 engines ignited white pillars chewing concrete. Thrust curves on telemetry all green. Until chamber 4 flickered brown. Oxidizer fuel mix shift, Sloan barked. Test aborted, engines stilled. Post-run data revealed deliberate sensor spoof flowmeter data, forced valves rich. Cording engine burn through. The code patch looked eerily like Orbit Nudge's structure, but buried in rocket avionics. Saboteur left a backdoor family, Sloan whispered. FBI cyber traced Sutherland's payments to a Phaeton shell in Cyprus. But a fresh clue surfaced. IP hops bounced through Lux Omni, a security firm bidding on Archer's own pad contracts. Archer denied knowledge, but board minutes leaked showing his COO had courted Lux Omni for competitive leverage. Public perception flipped. Maybe sabotage was an Archer inside job to shake NASA into bigger cost share. Stock markets responded. Archer Orbital down 7%. Phaeton up 3%. Someone arbitraged conflict. Durham met me in a DuPont Circle Cafe, sliding a dossier. Lux Omni isn't just Phaeton's cousin, it's smoke for Petrovia Aerospace. A nominal Russian front. They'd love Artemis delay. File photos showed Lux Omni chief Anton Markov sharing champagne with Archer's COO at Davos. Black PR via sabotage, Durham concluded. Archer invited me to dinner that night. I accepted. Willard Hotel, Crystal Room. Archer ordered lobster. I nursed club soda. He opened investors' panic over Senate theatrics. I need mission momentum. Momentum demands a clean vehicle, I answered. Your pad was compromised twice. He sighed. Whose flag do you salute? Commander NASA or drama? I leaned in. Both, if drama prevents a flag planting. Archer produced a sealed envelope proprietary booster diagnostic IP, free to NASA. Build trust, he said. I studied him. Either redemption arc or deeper play. I agreed to transmit the packet to Houston, but only through my Orion link. Midnight, hotel suite router isolated. I opened Archer's USB on air-gapped laptop. A single executable titled Diagnostic Boost. Sloan on video link watched as Sandbox executed. Hidden payload popped, attempted outbound to Lux Omni IP, trying to beacon system metadata. A Trojan horse gift. Sloan swore. We scrubbed the drive, compiled proof. FBI obtained warrant. Agents raided Archer Orbital HQ in Chelsea at 0500. I watched from command van. Servers seized. COO escorted out. Archer, in robe, stared at flashing red-blue lights. For the first time, no cameras of his choosing. By afternoon, stocks froze. Board ousted COO. Archer called me again. Voice raw, I was played. Help me salvage the mission. Then open every server to NASA and SEC, I said. No more blind spots. He agreed. A repentant billionaire rare as a blue supermoon. Cape static fire reset. Booster OD-402 roared again. Thrust curves flat. No steals. Mission timeline recovered. Houston's message. Trajectory go. Launch net 94 days. Kid's email flooded my NASA inbox. Emma sent GIF of dancing satellites. Back in DC, Senate released report praising transparency measures. I stepped onto the mall. Cherry blossoms fluttering. Sloan beside me, coffee in hand. What worries you now, she asked. Backdoors breed cousins. We patch until we launch, I said. Then we patch, she echoed. I looked up at a waxing crescent. Its dark limb hid possibilities, some adversary still orbiting in shadow. But my wrist calm glowed green. And for once the path to Luna felt almost clear. Cape Canaveral's dawn smelled of scorched salt and kerosene as the crawler brought Odyssey 402 to pad 46. T10 days to launch. The booster's white skin glowed lavender against a sky rolling through bruise purple into peach. I'd never seen sunrise look like a fuse wire until this program. Pad Operations Chief Maya Dalton handed me the clipboard. Wet dress rehearsal tanks this afternoon. We run full count to T0-8. Crew not aboard, but Orion Avionics live. I signed. Sloan Park. Now Mission Flight Software Deputy. Winked from behind her tablet. Archer Space. Reeling from board shakeup. Had offered every sensor log. NASA's red team still combed them for malware eggs. So far, silent. In firing room 2, banks of consoles hummed. Sloan flagged a subtlety second-order jitter in the LOX feed rate sensors, not enough to fail, but dancing. Archer engineers blamed temperature gradients. I asked model mismatch or injected noise. We looped raw packets, hidden inside frame footers, a byte flipped following Fibonacci cadence. Too artistic for thermal noise. Velasquez frowned. Someone is heartbeat pinging. Source traced to a router in LC-19 museum wing decommissioned. We dispatched field crew. The router port glowed, feeding a Raspberry Pi taped under a tourism kiosk. Storage card label. Dry lies. Security cameras showed a technician plugging the Pi at Era 142. Badge ID. Madeline Sawyer. Archer marketing liaison recently promoted to public affairs interface. We found her giving press badges. Bright smile hiding glacial poise. FBI scooped her. My interrogation training kicked in. Motive Phaeton had dangled a $10 million crypto purse for any exploit delaying Odyssey beyond fiscal quarter. Tanking Archer stock for takeover. Sawyer's payload was elegant. If WDR reached T08, falsified LOX pressure would trigger auto-abort. Blaming faulty valves, weeks of inspections. We had two options: scrub WDR and dissect system's delay schedule, or run with Pi removed, praying nothing else lurked. Archer, summoned to firing room, deferred to me. Commander, your flight. I turned to Maya Dalton. We run. Pull every unauthorized Mac off the net. Quadruple live parity checks. But we run. Velasquez gave a two-finger salute. Copy that. Launch the rehearsal. Super cold LOX flowed like ghost rivers. Vapor clouds tongue-kissed the strong back. Sensors stable. Kids live stream flagged cool blue status. Emma sent thumbs up emoji. At T150, helium pre-press spiked half PSI above nominal. Then settled. Sloan eyes narrow. No anomalous bits. Might be wind. Might be a second sleeper. T45 hold. We inserted red team script. Simulate ground system dropouts. Look for reactions. No phantom code executed. Good sign. Countdown resumed. T12. My headset picked faint whistle like tea kettle origin audio channel from pad microphone. Database flagged frequency as birdsong filtered through acoustic sensor, but spectrogram matched a known covert keying pattern used by Petrovia drones. Someone on the pad broadcasting, Sloan said. I sprinted with security to level 6 catwalk. A drone no larger than a crow perched on umbilical swing arm, antenna aimed at Orion hatch. I launched a net gun gift from Kapaska friends snared rotors. Drone tumbled, crashed to LOX frost, hissed. Its payload Bluetooth injector module aimed at hatch umbilical data jack. Maya's voice crackled. We're in terminal count, 5 minutes. We pulled the drone free, yanked battery, telemetry untouched. Main engines simulated start. Hold down bolts tensioned. Computer screamed green across wall of LEDs. No auto abort. WDR success. Applause echoed. Tears fogged helmet visors hung on pegs. Archer, red-eyed, whispered thanks. Sawyer's phone unlocked under subpoena. Group chat with codename. Dry dock. Revealed more cells in Houston contractor site. In JSC VR trainer. Phaeton's claws deeper. Administrator Lindholm ordered Task Force PO augmentation cyber rapid response for Artemis only. I would command flight crew plus Ghost Cyber Sentry. Midnight. I walked the pad. Frost vented like dragon breath under moonlit Orion. My wrist link buzzed. Sloan. JSC trainer checksum mismatch. We may have compromised sim environments. Houston wants you back. I gazed up at Odyssey's nose, pointing beyond stratosphere. We patched the pad. I texted back. Next, we patched the stars. Launch -9 days. The moon waited patient, but unforgiving. Launch -9 days to 0. The human mind can parse orbital mechanics, but rarely the mechanics of trust. Our flight crew bunkered at Johnson Space Center's Building 9 Sim Bay, a place where mock-ups smell of Velcro and cold aluminum, and where doubts echo louder than engines. 070. The Delta L crew pilot, Lieutenant Hannah Kim. Mission specialist, Dr. Luis Velasco. And me climbed into Orion's motion base. Sloan Park monitored telemetry from the back room. Fresh off a 22-hour shift hunting code ghosts. Pogo actuator rumbled. Our displays booted. 45 minutes into ascent profile, a master alarm howled RCS thruster banked Delta V wrong sign, flipping us retrograde into phantom tumble. Hannah gripped stick. Velasco's eyes darted. Sloan's voice cut in Simcore injected rogue Quaternian's exact signature of dry dock chat. The trainer environment had indeed been poisoned. We halted Sim. Psychological readiness took a hit. FBI Cyber and JSC IT sealed Building 9. Every Sim computer imaged, every USB quarantined. A temp trailer outside became triage. Evidence script labeled. Wanderlust. Time to insert thruster error if user ID matched Ethan T or H. Kim. Velasquez snarled. They're targeting bone marrow crew confidence. Administrator Lindholm FaceTimed if we can't trust Sims. We train analog. Consider a crash caves course. Caves East's Sardinian spelunking program designed to mimic isolation and unknown terrain. Ridiculous at L8 days, but better than letting paranoia metastasize. Within 24 hours, we touched down in New Mexico. Carlsbad Caverns National Park opened a remote branch for NASA years ago. We descended 500 feet into gypsum halls where headset chatter echoes like sonar. Mission task: navigate to Lagrange chamber. Deploy sensor beacons. Return with zero light navigation. Hana joked, moon's easier, no bats, but the hike bonded us. 12 hours knotted ropes, tallying CO2, reading translucent rock like star maps. At surface dawn, Velasco muttered. Retrograde ghosts can't chase us down here. Confidence meter ticked back to green. While we crawled caves, Durham cracked Lux Omni's crypto wallet. Deep chain forensics traced Phaeton cash to brokerage. Skyforge Capital. A front controlled by venture shark Roland Keene. Once spurned by Archer on funding round. Motive, vengeance, and profit. Court unsealed indictments, Keene vanished. But Sawyer's chat logs hinted at a final eclipse maneuver if Booster left pad. The phrase haunted me. -3 days. Orion stacked atop Odyssey 402 beneath Mobile Service Tower. Pad 46 became armed Citadel Marines, FBI drones, Artemis security checkpoints. Final propellant load rehearsal passed. Yet at 0113 launch eve, range radar picked an unidentified sail drone 5 nm outside exclusion zone. Satellite antenna aimed at pad telemetry downlink. Navy RHIB intercepted. Drone self-scuttled after purging SSD with thermite. Recovered fragments bore Skyforge labeling. Velasquez and Sloan hypothesized drone intended to inject bogus range safety destruct command during ascent blackout between ground station handovers and eclipse in telemetry coverage. Solution piggyback task force pose mobile beacon hack deploy and chase plane to reinforce destruct code authentication, hash real time. Administrator breathed. We write procedures at midnight. L10 hours. Astronaut crew quarters smell of pine cleaner and destiny. Hana played lo-fi Luna on speaker. Velasco wrote last-minute daughter letter. I studied flight plan line by line. Then folded the kid's table sticker Emma had mailed. Take us with you. Sleep, if came, was feather thin. 0330 vans to pad. Florida night thick with mosquitoes and flashbulbs from press huddled miles away. Final suit-up room handshake. Sloan squeezed my gloved hand through visor opening. No retrograde today. 600 strapped in. Kerosene smells seeped through filters, psychosomatic maybe. Countdown hummed. Mission control, voice calm. My heartbeat not. T-145, Wanderlust signature attempted injection via ground backup line. Poe beacon plane scrambled hash check. Blocked. Velasquez Phantom killed. T-00000 10 engines lit. Tower shook. No rogue code, no Phantom eclipse. We rode Pillars of Thunder into morning. SRB Sepian staging. LES jettison. I called Delta L nominal. Hana whooped. Velasco cried silent. 4 hours later, upper stage reignited, boosting us onto a path curved like silver bowstring. Out cockpit window, Earth rolled marble blue. Hana flicked cabin lights low for Earthrise. I opened voice loop to public channel, the kids' cast still streaming. Emma, table crew, look up that bright white star falling slowly, that's us. Next up, the moon, back on Earth. I imagined Archer watching, whether vindicated or rebuked. He'd see the booster he bankrolled pierce the heavens free of sabotage. But telemetry flagged faint ping hex string matching DRI lies. Now from an unknown cislunar smallsat tailing us. Skyforge had launched CubeSat weeks prior under weather experiment cover. Sloan's uplink can't chase you, but we can jam the jammer. Leave that to Poe. You keep flying. We programmed Orion's star tracker away from interference potential. Cislunar space swallowed the threat behind gravity gradients. I looked at Hana, Velasco, our patch with Calvin Poe's ghost silhouette sewn beside mission logo. Crew, go for lunar capture. Unanimous go. Earth shrank behind us like a hush finally heard. Ahead, a quarter moon waxed marble waiting for footfalls. Odyssey 402's upper stage fell away like a spent myth, leaving Orion alone in the blue-black between worlds. Our 3-day coast felt less like travel and more like a drawn bowstring. The ship vibrated with tension unseen. Outside, the rogue Skyforge CubeSat stalked us from a respectful but menacing 120 kilometers astern, its ping a metronome that Mission Control labeled Shadow 1. Mission Timeline Day 2. Velasco ran his medical experiments while Hana improvised a burn simulator with handheld controllers in 0G. But my mind orbited Shadow 1. Sloan patched me secure data cubes. Its last telemetry showed a deployable umbrella antenna, perfect for GNSS spoofing. If activated during our LOI burn, it could feed the guidance computer false Earth vector data, throwing us into a wide sweep orbit or a direct collision with the moon. Houston assigned Task Force Poe ground cell to jam Shadow 1 on S-band. Unfortunately, CubeSat carried X-band fallback. The Ghost still had fangs. At T14 hours to lunar orbit insertion, we executed the plane change maneuver. 3 MS tweak. Immediately, Shadow 1 mirrored, matching our inclination like a steel shadow puppet. Hana muttered, "It's reading our burn plan." I toggled to flight software guard mode. Forced manual approval for any GNSS updates during LOI. Velasco rigged a GoPro at the hatch window to track the CubeSat's strobe. Administrator Lindholm's voice over Deep Space Net Commander. "We have diplomatic back-channel Phaeton investors disavow, but Skyforge CEO still dark. Expect no help." "Copy," I replied. "We'll self-shepherd." T4 hours. Earthlight painted the cabin silver. Suddenly, our star tracker flagged a bright flash off port bow. Velasco zoomed GoPro Shadow 1's antenna had unfolded a glittering sunflower. Telemetry still nominal, but GNSS signal strength climbed by 3 dB. Sloan sent one-word text. Spoofing. Hana armed the Poe beacon module, a suitcase-sized emergency nav beacon designed after the Strait of Malacca fiasco. We had intended to deploy only if main antennas failed. But improvisation is the twin of survival. We suited. Depressurized airlock. Velasco held my tether as I floated outside, Earth and moon bookending my visor. I released the beacon module with a gentle shove. Its cold gas jets pushed it 40 meters away. Then it locked orientation and began chirping authenticated ranging pings at 10 Hz, far stronger than CubeSat's generator could spoof. Mission Control confirmed Orion's receiver prioritizing beacon signal. Shadow 1's spoof dropped to background noise. But the CubeSat changed tactics, thrusters fired, vectoring toward beacon module on collision course. Within minutes, it would ram, silencing our guardian. We lacked an arm, so we improvised. Hana plotted a 0.2 ms retro-translation burn, putting Orion on an intercept with beacon module, while Velasco prepped the airlock grappling pole normally for debris sampling. On Houston go. We pulsed RCS. Orion slid back toward the beacon. Through the window, I watched Shadow 1 closing, a silver ping-pong ball sprouting needles. At 15 meters, I reached the hatch, poked pole through the opening, snagged the beacon's grapple ring, yanked it inside. Hana fired RCS orthogonal. Shadow 1 swept through empty space, missing by 4 meters. It couldn't turn fast, tiny propellant. It drifted off tangent, then reoriented to chase Orion proper. Houston's rules allowed lethal response if spacecraft threatened crew safety. Aboard, we carried one ESA-designed micrometeoroid kinetic launcher, basically a compressed gas dart gun for puncturing tumbling debris pre-docking. I floated to mid-deck locker, loaded tungsten dart. Hana lined Orion so Shadow 1 sat dead ahead 50 meters. Cabin lights off to see strobe. I sighted down optical barrel, exhaled, squeezed trigger. The dart left at 300 ms, glinting once before spearing the CubeSat. Flash venting propellant crystallizing into a snow cone. Shadow 1 tumbled, power bus dying, Phaeton's last growl muted. T0. We oriented tailward, main engine toward velocity vector. Mission clock hit 0. Engine lit for 6 minutes. Blue plume carved invisible arc. I counted star tracker quaternions manually. Data steady. At shutdown, we fell into 90 x 17,000 km capture orbit. Exact plan. Applause from Houston crackled across space. Earthrise over cratered horizon looked like forgiveness. 32 hours later, we rendezvoused with Archer logistics module, waiting in L2 halo orbit. The module's polished hull bore Archer's stylized A, though half the letters now obscured by NASA and ESA decals after the board purge. I took manual for final 30 meters, Pulsed thrusters with surgeon taps. Soft capture latches clicked metal handshake across billions of dollars in bruised egos. Internal lights flickered on. Life support nominal. Hana radioed. Houston, we show hard dock. Welcome to the porch. While Velasco initialized power handshakes. I floated through cargo racks. Inside a clear case, meant for student experiments, I found a handwritten card. To the kids' table, keep aiming higher. L. Archer. Perhaps contrition. Perhaps branding. But sentiment belonged to the moon now. I stowed the card behind my seat souvenir for Emma. Mission planning thought Shadow 1 dead. But its final burst before depressurization had transmitted a software worm to the logistics module's Wi-Fi debug port, disabled in flight yet powered post-doc. Sloan spotted strange heartbeat packets. We severed Wi-Fi. But Worm had latched onto one power bus. Velasco began isolating circuits. If it issued max draw command, batteries could thermal runaway. Time critical. Only fix physically sever debug antenna to prevent re-enable command when we left. Hana and I suited for EVA-2. Moon's far side horizon jagged charcoal. We translated handrails. Toolkit velcroed. I cut coax with ratcheting shear. Hana installed ferrite choke. Inside, Velasco ran power cycle. Worm starved, no path. Module green. Later we floated at cupola window. Earth a blue marble bandaged by cloud. Sloan's voice FBI captured Roland Keane on Malta. Skyforge assets frozen. Artemis comm budgets about to balloon. Archer patched private channel. Your dart made Wall Street. Investors call it space jousting. Tell them it was a kid's safety lesson. He laughed a sound lighter than the first I'd ever heard from him. When you return, name your scholarship. We held informal comm with Constellation Corner Classroom, Emma asked. Did it feel scary? I answered. Yes. Bravery means doing course corrections anyway. Kids cheered. Mission plan allowed 2 orbits before we transferred logistics pallets to Gateway. During night pass over Mare Serenitatis, I taped Calvin Poe's ghost patch onto the airlock wall, Watchman of Cislunar Shadows. Burn schedule uploaded TEI 2 days away. The path home clear of saboteurs, at least for now. I recorded log entry threat vector shadowed. Neutralized. Ghosts stand watch. Crew morale high. The moon remains unimpressed, yet accommodating. Outside, gray craters drifted beneath like memories etched in stone. I wondered how many more backdoors the universe held, and resolved we'd keep patching star by star until the kids' table sat at the head of the cosmos, docked to Orion's aft port. The Archer logistics module pulsed with the hum of xenon attitude thrusters, nudging the combined stack toward the Gateway outpost, circling in its NRHO dance. Through forward windows, we saw Gateway's halo orbit as a pinprick cluster of white and gold, like someone spilled grains of salt into perfectly black water. Hanakim read the callouts while Velasco synchronized hatch pressure. I toggled comms gateway control, Delta L on approach, initiating translational handover. Copy, Delta L, clearance granted to 250 meters keep out sphere, replied Gateway's lead, ESA flight engineer Luca Bernaschi. Our final trajectory was shaped like a comma, curling us behind the outpost, where the new logistics port waited. Behind us, the beaten Shadow 1 CubeSat drifted further into empty orbit, its tungsten dart still lodged like an accusation. At 220 meters, Sloan's ground uplink flagged a burst on Q-band unknown payload addressed to Gateway's command and control module. Encryption header matched the now defunct Skyforge worm. Someone on the ground or in space was trying one last infiltration. Gateway control reported no anomalies. But Velasco's diagnostic screen twitched. The outpost's solar array pointing algorithm cycled twice. A move scheduled for 12 hours later. The hack was live and probing. Hana whispered, "We can abort to 500 meters. No, I said, we push but stay radio dark. Passive sensors only. We killed our transponder handshake, switching to optical LiDAR only. Gateway's automated system waited for an active ping that never came. So Luca authorized manual final approach. I grabbed Orion's hand controllers. Sloan fed us live overlays of potential thruster miscommands. None fired. Whoever knifed the array aimed deeper. Inside Gateway, NASA astronaut Priya Nand caught a sudden reboot of the attitude determination computer. She executed patch 3.4 from Task Force Poe's library, isolating the anomaly. A code diff flashed a tag, Eclipse Shadow. Same family as Dry Lies, but tuned for gateway hardware. I keyed secure short-burst PO-patch inbound via EVA. We soft-captured at logistics port. Velasco ran leak checks. Hana and I suited for EVA-3 within 40 minutes, fastest turn I'd ever done. Tools patch drive in hermetic bag. Portable diagnostic slate. Coil of data-rated fiber. Outside. Gateway looked like a skeletal lantern. Earthrise painted truss beams cobalt. Our task jacked the patch drive directly into CDH access panel and bypassed compromised Wi-Fi debug bus. Panel opened easily. But a second surprise waited, a palm-sized relay box taped inside. Serial number filed off. Blinking red when we removed bus power. The worm had physical teeth. Telemetry shrieked, gateway gyro momentum diverging. The box was pushing false wheel speeds. We had minutes before attitude control saturation spun the outpost. Hana. Sever bus line now, I ordered. She cut the 5-volt line with an EVA shear. Attitude error froze. Velasco inside the logistics module reported stabilization. I slotted Sloan's drive. Gateway CDH accepted, flashed green, new checksum overrides loaded, shadow code quarantined, then dismantled bit by bit. Priya inside Gateway confirmed attitude stable. Solar arrays repoint nominal. Skyforge's eclipse maneuver had failed again. Meanwhile, Durham on Earth decrypted earlier Q-band origin not from ground, but from a tiny sat riding as a hosted payload on Archer's own logistics module, the kind launched months earlier with minimal manifest oversight. It was broadcasting piggyback through the LM's comm amp once we powered it. We scanned the module's avionics bay. Velasco found a cube-sized canister labeled thermal experiment, inside transponder board, 20W amplifier, retractable patch antenna. Archer's face on flooded comm was ashen. I swear that's not authorized. Must be Co-O's doing before board fired. We severed its power leads. The canister went silent. With gateway clear, we commenced cargo move water bags, racks of 3D printer filament, small rover parts, 2 EVAs, and 12 hours later, logistics manifest closed out. Emma's sticker now rode on an experiment locker destined for lunar surface robots, a private vow planted in aluminum. 3 days in NRHO flew. Time for Tran's Earth injection. Odyssey's propulsion module. Still pristine. Fired for 2.1 kilometers. Earth captured us, pulling the blue marble larger every hour. During Coast, I drafted the Ghost Beacon protocol guidelines for mobile. Authenticated navigation beacons carrier concept now expanded for cislunar use. But sabotage had long legs. 4 hours pre-re-entry, Velasco's software scan detected a modified coefficient set in the GNC re-entry bank lift-to-drag ratio tweaked to open 0.8 degrees steeper. Heat load would jump by 15%, enough to damage a blade of tiles. The mod carried tag, Keen. Roland Keene had left a logic bomb in our ground compiles, triggered by a specific date today. We rolled back to clean bank from JSC repo, verified against Orion Link signature, problem telemetry antenna burn through risk if descent too shallow. We resimmed manually, new bank solid. Entry interface at 120 kilometer, plasma wreath caught Windows Ruby. G-meter climbed to 4.2, data stable, no extra heat spikes. Splashdown point Pacific 27 again. 140 degree W, parachutes blossomed white and orange. Orion kissed waves, success mid-ocean. Recovery ship USS Portland motored in. Navy divers gave thumbs up. When hatch cracked, Pacific air smelled of kelp and victory. On deck sat Durham, wave sprayed, holding tablet indictments unsealed against Skyforge board. Lux Omni execs and Archer's ex-COO. Roland Keene remanded to U.S. custody at LAX minutes ago. Administrator Lindholm announced creation of Permanent Lunar Cyber Shield Division under Task Force PO. Me as liaison. Archer greeted me via video. Humble scholarship funded, call it Kids Table Fellowship. Houston ceremonies waiting. But first I detoured to the Archer Museum where it started. Constellation Corner bustled with new kids. Emma ran up, showing live feed of our Earthrise shot printed on foam core. She asked, "What next, Commander?" I crouched. "We patched the whole sky, one orbit at a time. Want to help." Her yes shook the model rocket. That night I walked Johnson's Rocket Park. Saturn V loomed, floodlit. Calvin Poe's ghost patch on my jacket fluttered in Texas breeze. Mission log concluded Delta L complete. Unknown satellites inactive, kids table ascendant. But overhead, faint twinkles reminded someone else always builds another cube. Good. It means the next generation will have adventures to chase, ghosts to outsmart, and a cosmos to patch. I looked up and smiled, horizon narrow no more. Victory parades are never as simple as they look from the sidewalks. 2 weeks after splashdown, the Delta L crew rode down Pennsylvania Avenue in an open-top military electric truck. Cheers ricocheting off limestone facades. Confetti fluttered like insulation flakes from a ruptured service module, beautiful in photographs, painful in reality when it slips under your collar. The morning of Secret Service flagged a drone swarm in a Discord channel named "More Kids at the Table." Task Force Poe neutralized 3 quadcopters loaded with leaflets proclaiming Moon Hoax 2.0. No explosives, just theatrics. Still, the learning curve of vigilance remained steep. In my speech, I told the crowd, we patched a few holes in cislunar space. The next generation will patch more. Harper Quinn live-streamed it. Spinning the line into a TikTok challenge, patch the sky. Overnight, 1 million kids posted cardboard satellites plastered with duct tape. Back inside the Pentagon E-ring, Administrator Lindholm, General Grant, and Rear Admiral Sanchez assembled a new Lunar Cyber Shield Charter. I was tapped as first commanding officer dual hat role with Task Force Poe. Durham presented Data Skyforge assets frozen. Lux Omni execs plea bargaining. Phaeton dissolved into shell dust. Yet a stray worm, Eclipse Shadow Beta, had been detected pinging a NOAA weathersat. The cosmos, like code, never reaches version 1.0. Leland Archer's PR team invited us to a rebranding gala, this time no kids table. The museum's LED dome now displayed a mural children in EVA suits building satellites. Archer announced the Kids Table Fellowship, the grand total $150 million for global STEM. He surprisingly handed me a slim portfolio blueprints for Aquila X, a solar sail demonstrator aimed for Venus orbit, private venture, public data, he said. No sabotage, Scout's honor. I suggested an independent cybersecurity audit before launch. He smiled, real smile this time, and agreed. At Rice University, Emma, now STEM poster child, handed out the first fellowship certificate to a Ukrainian refugee who built a Raspberry Pi star tracker in a basement shelter. The ceremony aired live on NASA TV between ISS EVAs. I realized the kids' table had indeed migrated to center stage. Late April drizzle drummed Johnson parking lots. Sloan Park and I climbed the Saturn V hill to watch a rare Starship test in the Gulf. During the countdown, she handed me a small badge ghost silhouette crossed with a stylized kids sticker. Version 2 of the patch, she said. For the division that writes code before breakfast and quotes nursery rhymes after lunch. The static fire lit the clouds tangerine. Sloan leaned against me. We survived a CubeSat duel. Think we can handle dinner with my parents. I laughed louder than the Raptor roar. Mid-May audit logs flagged a silent partner buying Archer Orbital Shares Shell Corp. Heliowave Holdings, linked to Roland Keene's sister, Victoria. The SEC moved, but not before Heliowave obtained 2% of Archer. Kids' scholarship funds untouched, but image blowback inevitable. Archer called me, panic simmering. We open source designs, now pirates ride them. I replied, sunlight is the only sterilizer. We published full component manifests online with SHA 256 signatures, inviting global scrutiny. Reddit Aerospace tore apart weak points in 12 hours free penetration test, courtesy of the internet. NASA quietly circulated an RFI for Orion Plus Mars flyby. Using next-gen cryogenic stage, Lindholm asked if I'd consider command. Training pipeline 2 years, selection later this fall. Hana Kim. Now hot commodity. Hinted SpaceX offered her a slot on Polaris III. Velasco returned to med research but joined Poe reserve list. I walked Rocket Park again, imagining a hush larger than cislunar, one where communication delay would make sabotage detection exponentially harder. Poe engineers unveiled a suitcase-sized V2 prototype, able to switch frequencies, laser code authentication, and piggyback on Starlink constellations. We drop tested it from a KC-135 parabolic flight. It survived 12G impact. Emma sent me a meme, patch the sky, reboot the universe. NORAD cataloged fragments from the darted CubeSat decaying into Earth's atmosphere. One fragment, however, changed orbit, instead of decaying, now designated Object 2029-56b. Its TLE indicated control. Tracking suggested it might rendezvous with Aquila X after launch. Keen's sister still had claws. Durham proposed Operation Shadowbox 2 embed a kill switch in Aquila X avionics and publish it openly. Make sabotage self-defeating. At the Oval Office ceremony for CyberShield funding, the president asked, "Commander, do we still lead the world to the moon?" I answered, "We lead by inviting the world to defend it." Then I added, privately, and by letting the kids sit at the head. Later that night, I drove alone to Galveston, laid on the hood, and watched Aquila X's assembly vents glow under floodlights. The sea smelled of salt and ionized ambition. Sloan texted, "Tomorrow's threats grow in sunlight. Bring SPF." I smiled. Even ghosts need sunscreen when the sky keeps expanding. Earth turned, stars wheeled. Somewhere, new backdoors compiled against future dreams. Good. Our patch scripts waited, kids' table ready with duct tape and curiosity, and I, ghost-turned guardian, was wide awake. Horizon chasing further than aphelion. 6 months after Delta L. The Texas sun turned Rice University's quad into a kiln as Administrator Reva Lindholm announced the crew shortlist for Aurora P. NASA's Mars flyby Pathfinder scheduled to depart during the 2031 opposition. My name sat at the top beside Hannah Kim, with Sloan Park rotating in as Capcom and Dr. Luis Velasco tagged as Reserve Medical Specialist. Headlines screamed, "Lunar Heroes Chase Mars." Skeptics christened it Apollo Redux meets Netflix. But shadows lengthened NORAD's Object 2029-56b, renamed Spectre 1. Adjusted orbit again, sliding into co-altitude with the Starlink layer that Aquila X's solar sail would exploit. Intelligence brief suggested Victoria Keen had purchased time on Spectre via darknet auction. Skyforge's bankruptcy hadn't dented her vendetta. Durham's lunar cybershield cell escalated to interplanetary shield ICS. We wargamed scenarios Spectre 1 trailing Aurora P to beam malicious navigation scripts into its cryostage or spoof its solar array gimbals mid-Transmars coast. January rollout Archer's Aquila X soared on a Falcon 9 from LC-39A. Livestream spiked 6 million views under the Shah's Patch the Sky. Kids taped foil sails over their skateboards in tribute. The sail deployed flawlessly, a shimmering diamond 20 meters across, drifting toward Venus gravity assist. Yet 12 hours later, Aquila X pinged off nominal torque on sail booms, traced to command packets signed by a defunct Skyforge cert. Our embedded kill switch triggered, freezing the attitude loop and broadcasting source headers. Public GitHub repos lit up with amateur analysts identifying Spectre 1 as Origin. Momentum swung to our side. Victoria Keen's stock and fear plummeted. But budgets lag morale. Senate Space Subcommittee grilled us on ICS funding. Archer testified by my side. Cyber is now orbital debris, he told Congress. I added, unlike rocks, it accelerates. The committee approved $4 billion over 5 years, small against hardware billions. But silicon bullets are cheap. Aurora P training at JSC combined lunar lessons with 30-minute comm delay drills. We rehearsed blind burns. Hannah and I ran Star Tracker alignments, then sealed nav computer for 8 hours, simulating signal blackout. Velasco monitored psych metrics. One night, the sim pumped in a phantom Martian dust storm alert. Our procedure held, but I felt cortisol spike like SRB pressure. Sloan cornered me in the cafeteria. You flinched. Flinch saved us with Shadow 1, I said. Flinch can also misalign a 600-day trajectory. Point taken. CC uncovered Helio Wave's 2% Archer share as leverage for board influence. Victoria attempted to seed rumor that Aurora's cryostage used counterfeit valves. We countered with transparent supplier audits streamed live, surgeon camera close-ups, QR links to part certificates. Reddit Aerospace devoured them. Helio Wave's bluff died in mimetic flames. But Victoria escalated a phishing spear against my Orion link. Durham flagged it email purporting to be Emma's class newsletter. PDF rigged to sideload a 0-day into my wrist device. I texted Emma a secret code phrase. Her confused reply confirmed the spoof. The malware isolated. ICS patched. Aquila X's successful Venus flyby delivered unprecedented solar sail data. Archer announced scholarship doubling. Kids Table Fellowship now global. Emma presented at IAC in Paris, wearing a blazer covered in cosmic duct tape patches. After keynote, ES's director asked if she intended aerospace studies. She said, "I intend to patch Jupiter." Coffee spat everywhere. May Spectre 1 fired thrusters. Heading toward Elio Perigee, ICS predicted a collision course with a key Tianhe resupply craft attempt to spark international blame game and derail deep space cooperation. We briefed UN COPUOS emergency session. China's CNSA accepted ICS beacon injection to shield comlink. On re-entry path, Spectre 1 tumbled uncontrolled. Task Force Poe used a ground-based adaptive laser to photo-ablate one solar panel, altering drag enough to despin. The CubeSat burned over the South Pacific, kept company by 1 million stardust particles. Interpol picked up Victoria Keane in Zurich, boarding a flight to Nairobi with crypto hard wallets. Extradition followed. At the press conference, I was asked, "Any comment on the family duel?" "Space is big," I said. "Vendettas are small. With Spectre 1 gone, funding locked, and Aquila X proving sail autonomy, NASA signed Aurora P. Go. Crew list finalized me. Hanna, Velasco. Sloan appointed lead flight director. Administrator Lindholm privately offered me an exit promotion to desk if I felt target on my back. I answered by quoting Emma Patch Jupiter. ICS unveiled Beacon V3 foldable array. Lasercom quantum key handshake. Kids Table contest winner coded the handshake animation a ghost handing duct tape to a cartoon satellite. Emma served as MC, awarding herself honorable mention. On the eve of rollout, I stood under Orion Plus stacked atop a monstrosity of methane boosters. Archer joined me on the crawlerway. "No kids table up there," he mused. "There is now," I said. I tapped the side of the service module where Emma's new sticker wrote a planet with Band-Aid. "Archer offered handshake, fair winds, Commander, and clear code," I replied. Flight T90 days. Between now and then, thousands of lines of code would compile. Millions of bits bounce between Earth and deep space antennas. Some would carry ghosts of sabotage. Most would carry hope. That night, I sent a final personal log. If Horizon is aphelion, a point furthest from the sun, then every mission stretches that distance. Today, we stand further out than yesterday, and tomorrow, a kid in a classroom will stand further still. Stars over Houston winked like status LEDs. The kids' table had indeed become the control console, and we, their guardians, just engineers upgrading seats. So, 10 seconds. Kennedy's night is electric blue. The Orion Plus stack glazed in xenon searchlights. I can't feel my heartbeat. The suit's ECG says otherwise. Hana Kim's voice counts down in flawless Korean-accented English. Luis Velasco hums a lullaby for telemetry. Ignition. Methalox raptors carve pillars of incandescent tangerine. We ride thunder past the tower as the Atlantic becomes a sparksheet mirror. The children's duct tape planet decal, affixed just below the mission logo. Shakes, but holds. 52 minutes later, the Methalox stage shuts down. The cryogenic kick stage lights, pushing us onto a slab of orbit that will slingshot past the moon and swing us toward Venus first. Earth rotates below like a proud parent waving goodbye. Beacon V3 deploys from an airlock canister, folds open into a shimmering kite of OLED film. It begins chirping quantum key pulses for any would-be saboteur to chew on. So far, cosmic silence. Day 114. We skim Venus at 890 kilometers. The planet's ivory cloud top fills every viewport. Sulfuric swirls like dragon scales. Gravity grabs us, unspooling speed like silk. Hana's burn trims 22 menos. The trajectory lends us toward Mars with a 7-month coast. Telemetry shows micrometeorites peppering our Whipple shields, Venus dust trailing us like regret. Velasco runs hull scans, all green. Month 5. NORAD notifies ICS of Object 2031 AIA. Spectre 2 matching our heliocentric orbit ahead by 4 million kilometers. Its TLEs echo its predecessor. Durham's shield cell uploads new beacon keys. Sloan patches radio stack. We watch, but do not flinch. Lesson learned. Spectre 2 never maneuvers, perhaps Victoria's empire exhausted. Or perhaps this one waits. Sol zero. Mars, sunlight weak and amber filters through cupola. The planet grows from ruby to rusted pearl. We ignite cryo stage for 942 ms delta V, enough to dip to 250 kilometers at perihelion. We glide over Valles Marineris, bigger than Earth's Grand Canyon by factors unspeakable. Hana snaps photos. Velasco deploys microlanders, cube rovers built by scholarship kids to aerobrake and radio surface weather for 1 sol. Communication delay hits 31 minutes round trip. We move in synchronized autonomy dance pre-scripted. Yet the awe feels improv. 15 minutes after perihelion. Velasco notes glitch 1. Cube rover sends checksum error. Coordinates hundreds of kilometers east of drop. Replay reveals nanosecond offset timestamp injection Spectre 2 attempting to masquerade as cube data. Seeding false atmospheric figures to nudge us into a deeper exit burn. Potentially exceeding cryo stage prop margin. Beacon V3 rejects signature. Hana cross-checks star tracker, trajectory solid. We patch on the fly. Broadcast fixed to deep space net. Spooky, but contained. Delay be damned. Emma's classroom sends a serialized ASCII art rocket. Chunked across packets. It prints on the cabin screen line by line, patching the red. It arrives while we loop backside of Mars, dark side. The timing feels like destiny's wink, cruising post-Mars with escape velocity. We meet aphelion 8 months out our furthest point from the sun at 1.63 AU. Solar arrays drink weaker light. Ship systems slip into hibernation cycles. We hold a silent watch. Just the hiss of CO2 scrubbers and distant ping of Spectre 2 shadowing like a bored phantom. I record log aphelion tastes like cold copper and victory deferred. Sudden alarm day. 512 object 2031A changes vector. Burning solid fuel long arc to intercept beacon V3. Impact predicted in 36 hours. Destroy beacon. Blind shield. We cannot spare Delta V to chase. Shield ground writes code package. We uplink to beacon overclock transmitter to microwave cook incoming proximity electronics upon radar lock. Kids Fellowship engineer suggested the trick months ago turned the lighthouse into a bug zapper. 34 hours later, Spectre 2 closes to 100 meters of beacon. Its own radar wakes. Beacon fires 10 gigawatt burst. Spectre 2's power bus fries. Object tumbles. Fragmented trajectory soon swallowed by solar tides. A ghost eaten by light. Approaching sun again. We hit perihelion near Earth orbit. Space weather forecasts an X-class solar flare. Beacon V3 folds its sails into storm posture. Ship tucks behind cryo stage for partial shadow. Radiation ticks up but within suit spec. Solar storm's EMP ripples across heliosphere when it passes. We get a cleaner net, many dormant code beacons wiped quiet by nature's own firewall. Finally, Earth appears. Cobalt and swirling white. Re-entry corridor set for Pacific recovery. We jettison cryo stage. Ignite OMS for braking. Beacon V3 detaches into safe heliocentric orbit. Its mission ongoing, an eternal whistle of authenticated truth. Entry interface plasma sheath glows neon magenta. No code injections, no tilt anomalies. Parachutes bloom, ocean hugs us. Diving teams pull us home. Admiral Sanchez salutes, Durham grins holding coffee. Weeks later, Washington again. This time confetti is holographic particles projected via drones coded by fellowship students. Emma reads from podium space is debugged by curiosity. Congress laughs. Then funds ICS 10 more years. Archer announces Aquila Y Jupiter Trojan mission pre-audited open source from day 1. Night in Houston. Sloan and I sit on the hood of an old truck near Rocket Park. Stars unfamiliar. As if we pulled them slightly out of position by sheer will. Still patched, she asks. I tap wrist link, no alerts. For now. Until the next table, she smiles. Until the next table. Ghosts at rest, kids ascending. Universe compiled one sincere orbit at a time.